Struggling with a little bit of lower back pain or struggling into the hips, you got to think of the body joint by joint. If something's not doing its job down here, something up here has to compensate, and so on and so forth. And so that's the kind of rule of thumb that you want to apply here when we're looking at issues going on here. Don't stab the crap out of it and roll the crap out of it and beat it up because it's too tight. It's tight because there's a problem somewhere else that needs to be fixed. There's something going on in the hips, and likelihood is also a tight and often a weak glute, which is then causing a bit of issue up the back. So we're going to run through a couple of good little mobility drills and some really good exercises for you. The elbow as low as we can, and then creating a rotation. So each time you think of dropping the body down, dropping the hip down, and then just creating a rotation around. And then just creating an easy rotation around like so. And then from here, I'm thinking of sort of driving the hip kind of forwards as well with that movement pattern. If we're struggling with tight hips and we go into a squat pattern, we're starting to kind of get this movement pattern going. Work around if we're just lacking a little bit of that range of movement. So under the heel, from here, I can now have them under my heels, and I'm going to go into that sort of deep position there. Yeah. If we don't need the weight plates, well, we can simply go into that big, deep end range movement pattern, super low and coming all the way back up. And if we're driving too far forward, it's just we're losing that glute activation. So you want to think of, I want to sit squat down deep, and then I want to think of driving up, utilizing the glutes 90 degrees. So what I mean by that is as we go down to this position, about 90 degrees in this front leg, 90 degrees in that back leg. Reason being is as I go down here, as I push up, I'm going to get a lot more glute work. So here, think of pushing that front foot down, driving through the foot in the front leg, driving through the toes of the back. And importantly, getting now a good quad activation, but I'm also getting a hell of a lot of glute activation to come back up into that movement. Sort of more on my heel. The foot's relatively close to the body here. This one I like to keep sort of at 90 degrees here. Push up, I'm going to focus on tucking my tailbone under me more, so I'm getting more activation into the glutes. Hands on the hips, think of, let's just grab the hips and sort of give them a little bit of a tilt. Straight away, I'm going to get more into the glutes switching on, and I'm going to get a bit into the hamstrings as well. And now I'm taking away that strain or that sort of lumbar extension there, and then now I'm going to get better activation into the glute. Times of 15, and once we've done that, we then can go into a nice stability hold. Okay, so this position I'm going to hold here. I want to keep the hips parallel. I'm not going to let them sort of spill away. Okay, if they're spilling away, we've got to think of, we've got to keep them nice and in the line there. And that's how we can activate a little bit more strength work. A figure 4 pose here, and then I can bring that leg up, and then I can push that leg away. So I'm pulling this one towards me, and then this leg I'm keeping loose, and I'm pushing that one away. So elevated on the knee side here, on obviously the higher side, and then we can hold this position, and I can lean forward on this. So I'm going to get a huge now stretch for the glutes, and then we can create a rotation around as well, which will start to change a little bit of the stretch. If we think about the glutes like a building or foundation, glutes are basically, that foundation, okay? If they're tighter and weaker, they're protecting themselves. So if you're coming and, I really want to massage the crap out of this to try and loosen it off, I'll loosen it off because it's too tight. Trouble is if we keep loosening something that's weak, it's now creating a weaker than foundation. It's tighter because it's bracing itself. It's working because other parts aren't really doing their job. And so now if we start actually getting into the right area, we start strengthening the glute, we're going to start building a better foundation. And if we start working into those nicer sort of deep ranges as well, now we're going to start getting probably a less tight glute, a stronger glute, and overall should have now a better foundation, and that should start taking away issues that were probably going into the back or potentially going lower down as well.